deemed the celebrity whisperer by Playboy.
This is the best interview of the day.
Thanks for having me.
You hit the nail on the head.
100%.
Period, yeah.
Touch them. They're cracking me up.
Wear them, baby. She's good.
Taylor Ferber.
This show is a voice by the people for the people, okay? And if you haven't noticed, I actually have a We the People little Easter egg here. And we the people are embarrassed, okay? Here's why. What does Independence Day, the 4th of July, represent? It represents the so-called American greatness, the powerhouse that, the baby country of America is in the world when it comes to autonomy and potential and liberty and freedom and achievement and success, innovation, and that American dream. It's why, take a look at the borders. It's why that shit is jam-packed like sardines. You would think it was the ball pit in a discovery zone of a 5-year-old's birthday party, okay? They are just elbow to elbow, close-eyeing each other to get here, right? Because of that unmatched opportunity. And yet, here we are in disarray because if we're looking at the world stage of championships, this right now at this point in time, it is not giving world champion. It is really giving the football team from Not Another Teen movie, okay? This shit is a mess. The wretched display of human interaction and leadership that was the presidential debate. We were subjected to 90 minutes straight of this absolute diabolical mess, okay, of people leading the free world. What everybody is talking about is that Joe Biden's cognitive decline that was up until this point rumored was full on display. Like it is truly like Ferris Bueller, are you there? Are you in class? But plot twist with this, like Ferris Bueller never existed, okay? And so when we saw this, Joe Biden, okay, not mumbling through things, just making random facial expressions, looking like he's communicating with the dolphins, okay, can't even get through a thought, can't even stumble around without Joe Biden there to wipe his diaper, okay? Is that what happened? But the Democratic Party, the liberal media, instantaneously on cue, like a pageant queen, winning and feigning on the stage, but in reverse, okay? Because this is an embarrassment, just went nuclear over this display because it was so in their face, they no longer could gaslight the public and put it off to some sort of deep fake created by conservatives about how Joe Biden is mixing up world leaders and talking about people who are dead as if they are there applauding him in the front row, okay? So when I say there was a collective nuclear shell shock meltdown, okay, I am talking about from the likes of MSNBC, the New York Times, the New Yorker, Van Jones, Joy Reid, even Jen Psaki in all of her peppermint patty ways, CNN. The list goes, who did I leave out? The Atlantic. Who did I leave? Anybody else? This pen, okay? Anybody else care to come forward about how shocked they were? Okay, as if they were catching Bruce Jenner in their closet, trying on their bras, as if they caught their husband, Army Hammer, eating somebody's toenail off. That's how shocked that these people were. Okay, you even had the Axios reporter who has been covering the White House, who has been the eyes. If walls could talk, he is the walls. Okay. He's been the national political White House reporter for Axios for the last 3.5 years. He goes on to CNN with this whole revolution that the White House has been covering this up, that everybody is so shocked that they'd obscured how in bad of mental shape and, like I said, cognitive and honestly physical decline that our president is, right? As if this is shocking breaking news. Now, you do have the exception, okay? You have the Gavin Newsom, okay? him and his French Laundry and his thick as thieves hair gel are insisting that still Joe Biden will be the nominee and will be president. And who else do you have along for this ride but the gaslighting queen herself, Kamala Harris, who's been interviewed by Anderson Cooper since this display of debauchery, basically. And she's like, look, I get why you guys would want to talk about this, but like, this is just crazy. Like, let's just get it out of the way. Like, you guys are being insane. Listen, don't either of these clowns believe for a second a word they're saying. They are busy poisoning Joe Biden's tea because they are next in line. So they have to say this shit. And that is when they are not off doing an Oscars ripoff nobody asked for. Don't even get me started on the skit pre-BET Awards that Kamala Harris just released with Taraji B. Henson. I am embarrassed for the person who invented acting. Like, they did not ask for this. It is so cheesy. It needs a funeral just like Joe Biden's memory, okay? But up until this point, I mean, it is sad, right? It's sad on the whole because whether excuses have been made or not, to go back to my beacon of shiny hope intro, is this what we really want in a leader for ourselves? We need to unite, team, like hands in and huddle. Okay, like I'm talking some ass spanking locker room talk right now. Like we want somebody to inspire and motivate the masses. And the fact that both sides are so committed to their cause, the other side is so corrupt, the other side is so this, so that, prevents this from happening for all of us. And it is just bleak. It is just sad. You know, it is just the end of Lost. Okay, that's all I can say about that. And so when you look at all of this, you have to wonder, like, I know I did. Everybody is even like the show Breaking Points, like everybody, comedians I see on Instagram, everybody is talking about this, quote, shocking display that, like I said, has everyone in panic mode. And my question is, how could they honestly be so shocked, especially these, liberal, mainstream leaning media, political figures? Like, how could they honestly be so shocked? Like, have you misplaced your eyeballs? Where have you guys been for the last 3.5 years? This guy doesn't even know where he is, has to read notes off of a cue card if he ever speaks to the press as if he is in a geography bee. Okay, spelling bee, that is too high of a caliber. We're not even at that level. Okay. And is mixing up, like I said, world leaders, talking about dead people as if they're there. Like, what have you not seen? So it really got me wondering, and it pertains to so many issues in our culture. How could they really be this shocked? How could they really be this shocked, right? Because now you have conservatives all in cahoots and in conspiracy, as they like to do. A conspiracy conservative, like, the one, conservative Kathy, like they are out there. And now they are all saying that, oh, all liberals, all Democrats knew about this entire time. They've all been in cahoots. They've been lying. And now they all suddenly got the memo overnight, like the Sanderson witches at sunrise, to pull the plug. Let's all just come out with it. We're facing the music, we are in a waltz like Grace Kelly facing the music. We cannot avoid this anymore. We have to come clean to the American people about how this guy's a mess. There's op-eds, pundits, politicians talking about how he needs to step down in a last-ditch effort to have anybody but Donald Trump in office, and time to step down, Joe, and get someone else, right? As if that's how it would happen, right? Maybe you could argue potentially that's how it would happen. Or, like, again, what are the chances that carrier pigeons within first 20 minutes of this debate dropped on every single Democrat's doorstep and told them to outwardly, publicly stop the lie and pull the plug, right? Again, in my mind, pretty unlikely. But what is likely, and this is something that I've yet to see anybody ask and address, because the truth is we all do this on some level. What if these people really believed the lie? What if they weren't just blatantly lying? What if they were delusional? What if they were so committed to this cause? All they needed was a little bit of information, a little bit to support. See, Joe Biden talked there. He's okay. See, anything to keep out Trump, that they held on to this belief that he was actually okay and this comedian behind the stage and full of vigor, right? That they just didn't actually see it until now and that they actually are that shocked. What if they didn't want to see it? So they didn't. They purely didn't see it because they didn't want to. What about that? And it goes to show, right, how this is like a little dark and this is like a little Orwellian, but how weak people's minds are, how easily they're manipulated, right? How easily, like I said, they can just hold on to a nugget of information and pass that baton in or out of the open category of sports, which gets me to my next topic, is the idea of trans people participating in sports, right? Because it feeds into this very idea that we are so committed to something that we will ignore what is sitting on our head. Okay? Like a heffalump. Okay? And despite common sense, to hang on to what we believe, despite all the facts, despite how many times Joe Biden drooled on his bib, okay, still hanging on. Again, maybe not blatantly lying, but believing it, the alternative. So when it comes to the trans issue, right, you have people who are so committed to trans rights. They are so committed to, and look, I am all about, I want a tranny. I don't know if you can say that anymore. I don't think you can, but you know what? Caitlyn Jenner, I bet she would beg to differ. I want them to live their best life, okay? But I ain't about the life on stepping on other people's gowns and doing it in a free and fair way. Maybe like our elections. I don't know. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Okay, like Alice in the Mad Hatter right now. Jesus, my God, people. I mean, what could a gal in a tight white tee with no bra, how much do you expect for her to do in 1/2 hour? I mean, my goodness, can this gal tackle? But this whole idea, right, of being committed to trans issues and trans rights, that you will ignore all the common sense, the biology, the science, the obvious, right? Anything else is you're a bigot, you're a transphobe, and all of this. So we've been pushed with this narrative. And listen, my little research fingers, I didn't even have to be on the Chinese version of TikTok to see this. Okay, I sought it out all on my own. My research fingers found, even up until this day, so how you have, if there's ever an article in the mainstream, I'm talking the MSNBCs, all the usual suspects, about trans people in sports, namely trans women, right? Biological men who have transitioned. You still see this kind of verbiage of the idea that it's all just hogwash, the idea that biology, sex, gender are all just societally constructed and arbitrary, and there really is no difference between men and women and bendy funhouse, clown house, mirror shit, all kinds of stuff going on, right? You even have scientists. I see this in the comments, okay? Like scientists, I thought you guys, listen, I'm just a writer and a podcast, so I'm just a journalist, but like, I thought you guys were supposed to be smart, okay? We have scientists who are backing this, being like, oh, if you have, reassignment and can change your hormones and all this, it makes complete and total sense for a 6-foot Tarzan to compete against a 5'2" Jane. Hey, this is how committed they are to the cause. So, for example, you have Leah Thomas, who, whether she wants it or not, has become really the face of this entire issue, right? So you have Leah Thomas, who, and this is again where it's so in your face, a la Joe Biden, being decrepit. You can't avoid it, okay? When Leah Thomas, before she transitioned, competed in men's swimming. Let's take the 200-yard freestyle, okay? In men's, she ranked at 554th. In women's, now suddenly, magically on the magic carpet ride of the waters, moved up to 5th, okay? Let's take the 500-yard freestyle. She went from 65th to first, okay? To the point where, and I've talked about Riley Gaines, I talked about her in my recent eps, had her on my show, to the point where Leah Thomas actually tied with Riley Gaines for first place in the NCAA championship. That's how good Riley Gaines is, right? But my point is, they seem to, again, it's biology, it's muscle mass, it's strength, it's bone density, it's height, it's all of these things, right? That you can't wish away, no matter how many genie bottles that you rub that you may or may not have down there anymore. That they somehow succeed in this area, right? In the men's category, or sorry, they aren't succeeding as highly in the men's category, but then suddenly they transition, pun intended, to the women's and are slaying the competition like it is Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. You even have Fallon Fox, who was an MMA fighter. And this was super controversial a couple of years ago. Joe Rogan spoke up about it because this person basically went under the radar trans and was a biological man fighting biological women. Unbeknownst to them, this was a trans person, right? So they're going in thinking they're fighting another female. And shit hit the fan when Fallon Fox fractured the skull in the ring of somebody that she was fighting, right? And then you have Veronica Ivy, who's a Canadian cyclist. And same thing, just goes into the compete in the women's category and is just annihilating and breaking all kinds of records. So, right, you see this thing again of competing as a man, like, okay, and then just taking out the competition as a woman. And again, I want people to compete openly and fairly, but this shit ain't right. Like, this is like me having listen, I'm a tough bitch. This is like me having an arm wrestle with the Hulk. Who would put money on me? I ain't even mad. I ain't even mad. Raise your hand. Case in point, exactly. Like, I want everyone to live their life's purpose and to live freely and fully and happily. But sweetie, like, this ain't it. This ain't it. Trust me, okay? I stood next to Caitlyn Jenner. Okay, my face was wedged between her fake boobs. This is well after transition. I don't want to compete with that bitch in chess. Never mind track. So that just goes to show that, again, no matter how they justify it with, oh, you can tweak hormones, it's all hogwash, it's crazy. You can make a biological man with reassigning this and hormone that even after puberty to be on the same playing field as a woman. Like, it's all crazy. And if not, you're a bigot. It blows the sense. It is South Park. It is actually South Park when you see this 6'2" man towering over the woman and beating her in the competition. You would think that this shit is satire and it's real life. Why? Because again, I don't even know that despite the common sense, despite what our eyes are processing, and I don't know about the brains, but maybe I'm giving these people too much credit. I don't even know if they think that they're lying. I don't even know, like the Joe Biden thing, if they're all in cahoots being like, haha, we know this, but we're going to say the other. I think they are so committed and convicted to their cause. They simply won't see anything else. And that shit is sad. You know, like what I would give to use binoculars at the NCAA championship in the water and see Leah Thomas's motor boat down there. You know what I mean? Swimming and stroking away. So, you know, speaking of physiology, actually, I'm going to do this quick little sidebar. I wasn't sure if I have time, but we always have time to keep it real here, okay? Another time when the common sense wasn't sensing was what have you but COVID. And the reason that I resurrect this from the dead, you know, is I was going to make such an inappropriate joke. Like Joe Biden's son, which again, he doesn't even know when his own son died. Okay. That's how badly in shape that his brain is, this man. But is COVID. And the reason I bring this up is because Adam Carolla recently had Gavin Newsom on his podcast and grilled the shit out of this slimy little man, which I have to say, and I posted this on my stories, it's too bad that Gavin Newsom is such a slimy little swampy politician because he's got the looks. He's got the wit and charm. He's got the hair going for him. Like, I bet you he's somewhat defined under that boxy, career politician suit. And he ruins it on stupid ass moronic policy and decision making. Like, ruined. Fuckboy ruined. But anyway, Adam Carolla recently had Gavin Newsom on to be like, dude, what sense did it make during COVID to shut down the beaches out in fresh air? Like, was a seagull going to give you COVID to annihilate all of these businesses, shut down outdoor dining? Like, what was the reason? And trust me, I know, me too. I am a victim and a survivor of Gavin Newsom's COVID policies, okay? I was single-handedly taken off of Santa Monica Beach by the fire department, basically patrol. I was torn by my weave off of a Mulholland Outlook by myself up there by a park ranger when all I wanted to do was get a sense of clarity in my head. But no, trust me, okay? I was straight blacklisted, like, the Jew I am, for not having a COVID card to properly stand and sit when appropriate and expected in a restaurant. Like, it was a whole mess, okay? But even COVID is a perfect example because no matter how many times we heard, oh, get the vaccine, stop the spread. Meanwhile, people would get 3, 4, 5, 6 boosters and keep getting COVID. We learned in a literal study that masks essentially didn't work. And yet you had people so committed that none of that mattered. Okay. It was all fake news. And it would be like, thank God I get my 5th booster. Thank God I wore a mask. It's like, dude, you're on your 8th time of COVID. Like, what part of this shit doesn't work? Ain't adding up. It's like the math ain't mathing. So anyway, thank God for those. Thank God for those. But again, being so committed and not being able to see anything else purely because you can't, you don't want to. It's not even that. Maybe it's not even that they're lying. Yeah, maybe it's that they just purely don't want to. So a last example I have for this is perhaps one of the tried and true faves, but the really twisted, fucked up dynamic right now between men and women. Because here's the deal, guys. Here is the deal. We can rag on men all day. We can rag on women all day. But guess what? Y'all are to blame. Y'all are to blame for all of this. There is so much finger pointing. No one's getting what they want, and they keep blaming each other. And again, something right in front of their face that they just can't see. How do you mean, Taylor? I will tell you how, okay? Hey, phone line me directly. The phone line, that is the history. Okay, landline. Here's the thing. Women are constantly disappointed. Men are trash. Men are losers. Men are pussies. Why aren't they getting them out of their mom's basement? Why do they ghost me? Why do they make inappropriate comments about me on Instagram? Why can't they just call me up? Why do they this? Why do they that? Why do they that? Right? Fair enough. Fair enough. Why do they have all this audacity? Here are men. They're like, you bitches have been saying we're toxic. The way that we are, smash the patriarchy. We need to suppress the fundamental instincts and things that make us men. You told us to stop doing all of this. You put us in a corner. You told us basically to shut the fuck up and go away. So what do you expect, right? Both fair points. I ain't going to argue these, right? But let's take a look first about how women really done fuck this up, right? Because women who want to be, again, biologically, okay? You remember the white t-shirt, the no bra white t-shirt thing. I'm not going to go on a lecture now about the cavemen and nurturing versus men being, the dominant ones and this and that. I'm not going to go into that right now. But the fact that women naturally want to be, courted. They want to be treated in a special way. They want to be treated with respect. They want to be pursued. They want the men to take initiative and not be a bunch of little baby bitches, right? They want to be told how beautiful they look. They want the door open for them. They want nice gestures done. They want to be respected. They want to be asked. They want all these things, okay? But at the same time, You bitches straight laser your eyes like you are an extra out of the boys to any man who so much as compliments your outfit, takes note of that your tits are from here to the Empire State Building. I'm not saying in an inappropriate way, but it became this thing of I'm dressing like this, yeah, but it's for me. Don't even look. Don't even say anything. Don't talk to me. You're weird. Ew. So dudes are like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I'm not sure. In turn, making them a bunch of pussies, right? Confusing the shit out of them. I had a man when all of this started happening who people say that this story is sweet. I'm like, this story is not sweet. This story is a tragic tale of the times, who asked for my permission to compliment my dress on a red carpet. Super sweet, like innocent middle-aged man. Was like, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to get in trouble, but can I compliment your dress? It's so pretty. You look so beautiful. Like, honestly, whose fault is this? Our natural instincts and wants being all kinds of fucked up, right? But, and like I said, and now women, even like my feminist friends, women that I know, even they're pissed there are no guys. They're like, why are they all such pussies? I just want a strong man. I just want an honorable man, like someone who shows up and does this stuff. Like, it's not hard, right? Again, fair enough. Like, we want a guy to take initiative. We want to get won over, right? But this is how men, you done fucked it up. You bought into this bullshit. So yes, we could have seen this happening from a 500-yard Leah Thomas rigged, competition away. But step up. Step up. I don't give a fuck, dude. Why did you buy into this? Why did you buy into like, yeah, we're just gonna like go and be doormats now and go and play Dungeons and Dragons? Told you it was coming back until the end of time. Like, guys, enough with the dick pics, enough circle jerking each other off to World of Warcraft in your mom's basement. These dudes, like, you can't even talk to a girl, never mind talk to a girl without making like an inappropriate comment about her tits or looking at her as an otter tits. Like, my God, it is not that fucking hard, people. It is not that hard, okay? So even like I heard a story. I was at the Four Seasons. This shit is shameful. You want to talk about shame? This is shame on our name, shame on our country. To bring it back to the beginning, I was talking to a girl at the Four Seasons in Nashville the other day. This is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. She talked about a man who showed up on a date with her out in a park in Nashville. Nice day. And shocking, it even got so far because the chances of a guy actually picking up a phone, calling you, having the confidence, being assertive, taking the initiative, wanting to make it happen with you, like, so hot. Chances of that, slim to none. So in some way, shape, or form, something happened to where they ended up on a date. This guy shows up in a bathing suit with sandals and socks. Again, what is this Peter Pan? If this is the Peter Pan lifestyle, I ain't signing up to be Wendy. I'm not here for this, okay? It is not okay. And so all of this goes to say, again, we have bought into, no one's happy. No one is succeeding. No one is thriving. We are barely surviving. No one's having sex. Again, getting married, dating, like can barely hold a conversation with one another. So why is it? It's because, again, I know women who bash men, tell them to be in a corner, tell them everything they do is bad, and then complain that there are no men. I have men complain about how they're told they don't know if they can open a door, this, and then our little baby bitches with their tails between their legs. Step the fuck up, everybody, okay? And so, again, we are so bought into these beliefs that we can't even see that we perpetuate these cycles, the very things that are getting in our way, that are not making us happy, that are not what we want. We are so committed, we can't seem to see and act on anything else. And in this case, to leave you all off on a special note, I was going to say optimistic, right? In the case of men and women, we're so bought in. It's like we can't see anything that we don't want. We have managed to fuck up the one thing that our DNA has us biologically programmed to do, has us doing, which is being with one another, procreating, dating, having romance, having sex, we have managed to fuck all of that up because of all of this and because we are so stuck in our beliefs. So I don't know what else there is to say to that, people. All I can say is look at us. We are a hot mess. But if this leaves you with anything, okay, I'm not going to leave us on the sad note that our founding fathers looked down at this debacle, okay, with shame. I'm going to leave you on that note. I'm going to leave you on the note that if you're aware of this, right, and you're willing and able, look, I'm sure I do it too. We all do it. If you're willing and able to look outside of what you are so bought into, to maybe actually I'm wrong. Maybe the other person isn't crazy. Maybe there's something to be said about that. Maybe, who knows where that would get us? Maybe there would be less divide. Maybe there would be more harmony. Maybe we would have a leader of the free world who makes some goddamn sense and actually has our back. And maybe, just maybe, some of us will actually get laid.